Today I'm going to talk about the caste system, starting by its origin, which is uncertain. So people came up with 7 major theories that explore the racial, political, occupational, traditional, the guilds, religious, and evolutionary factors that could have led to such social organization. The racial theory states that characteristics of each people in the region were solely responsible for this division, claiming that different races have different biological needs and that this would affect all phases of someone's life, including their jobs and hierarchy. The political theory simply declares that the Brahmins wanted to gain control over the people, so they created a system in which they were superior. Another way the system could have originated was by the difference of specializations people had in those times, supposedly having superior jobs and thus creating a hierarchy. Or so the occupational theory states. The guild theory is about how the society formed and divided naturally. First, stating that there would be 3 major forces that result in such organizational methods for a society, being those tribes, guilds, and religion. Tribes would have divided by job specialization, forming guilds, and priests would have required more privileges, more prestige, and thus the caste system was formed over time. Religion is also given the responsibility for such way of organization, as many of its concepts gave superiority to kings and Brahmins. Administrative tasks were later on associated with the basic department. Few restrictions and gods people chose to worship may have contributed to the formation of such system too. According to the evolutionary aspect, this system is simply another institution that naturally developed through evolution. There is another theory known as theory of many. It portrays a caste pre-existent to the Aryans, who would be responsible only for enforcing it over people. So the fear of touch, supposedly someone who is not pure, or even the food restrictions would have existed before the arrival of the Aryans. And so it was natural for people to divide, and later on people maintained those as a code. So how did it work? The caste system is hereditary and has practically no mobility. Unless you do something really bad from a high position, then you would be moved to a lower position, and this was way easier for you to actually climb up the pyramid. And it was based on reincarnation, which was the only way you could move from one caste to another. Move up from one caste to another. Because if you did your job well and lived a virtuous life, your next life would be, for example, if you were a Shudra and you did your job well, you served your duties and did live an overall virtuous life, you would become a Vaishya, and so on. There were a few expectations on how people were supposed to act within their caste. For example, Brahmins could give food to other castes, but they could not accept food because if they did so, they would be polluted. This concept also applies for when an untouchable drinks from a well. Their well, from the time the untouchable drank from it, became undrinkable to all their castes. Marriage was forbidden across castes too. Different castes had different responsibilities. For example, the Brahmins were responsible for the conduction of religious rites and services, such as the preparation for festivals, holidays, marriages, and funerals. Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras were free to worship, but in some places, Shudras were prohibited to sacrifice. And you can see how differently they were treated, because while the Brahmins were on the leadership of the religion, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras could participate in it freely and believe in what they wanted to. The untouchables could not even enter the temples. So it's very clear there was a distinction and then hierarchy on all aspects imposed by the caste system.